Hi guys, Squad here. Welcome back to another Satisfactory episode of the playthrough that we're doing. And from the last one, if you remember, we built these wonderful coal generators. Yes, we now have access to coal, and we're generating power from coal, which is just beautiful. We're currently chucking out a lovely 100 megawatts capacity, that is. So we can increase capacity easily, either by adding another generator. We can easily cope with that from this belt. Another way of doing it is to add power shards into here, but I don't suggest we do that. One thing I will say is I'm an idiot, and I could have actually built the walls. Remember I said to you, we've got these conveyor walls, we need to get them unlocked. Well, I totally forgot that we already did that, so we actually have access to the walls. So the first thing I'm going to do is quickly build a conveyor wall, like so, just to tidy this thing up. I want to go from the outside, there we go. I've grabbed hold of a bunch more concrete as well, so come on game. We can actually touch that. So much tidier. We can actually go ahead and just box this thing off if we want to now, because we actually have the concrete to do it. Just need to build a little bit around here, because it won't let me put a wall up so close to this thing. So what we can do is just put a basic wall like that. Now, one of the things I want to do today is I want to increase our concrete production, which we can easily do. I've noticed there's another limestone mine nearby. Now, we could completely box this off if we want to. We could leave it roofless. It's probably best to leave it without a roof, because if we try and put a roof on that, we're going to have trouble with all the chimney stacks and stuff. Will it let me build underneath this thing? Interesting. No, it won't. It won't let you build underneath. The walls can only sit on top, so I can't actually stop this from floating. So it does look a bit weird, doesn't it? That's unfortunate. I was hoping I could actually tidy that up. Complete waste of resources, of course, but it would have looked a lot better. So we'll leave that as it is. We'll build a generator as and when we need it. Right now I'm going to run back and we're going to do some work with the factory itself. Now, one of the things we probably should start doing is building reinforced iron plates, and also some more concrete, just basically upping our production of stuff. There's a few downstream items that we're not assembling yet. Reinforced iron plates is one of them. What else have we got? We've got the cube things, I can't remember what they're called now, and the rotors. We're not automatically making any of that stuff, so it's probably time that we start assembling some of that, so we're more or less producing everything that we can automatically. We may have to build on the second floor. We may have to go and grab some more iron. We shall see as we start fleshing this thing out. At the moment, we're producing quite a lot of screws, and we've got a lot of iron rods. We've got iron plate production, but not an insane amount of iron plate production, as you can see. This thing does stack up, but you can see that's nowhere near compressed. So if we need more iron plates, then we should be able to make more, I would suggest to you, out of this thing. Yeah, that's not stacked at all. So that can take 30 a minute into 15. That can take 30 minutes. So that can actually take... Actually, is that a stack belt? That's not a stack belt, is it? No, it's not full at all. I would have thought that was the full belt. 1 second. It doesn't look like a full belt, but... Is this smelting at 60? Oh, it's smelting at 30 and 30. Yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, so we can actually improve production quickly if we want to, because, well, there's another iron ore mine there. I think that's the third and only one nearby. Technically, we can double up on these, but what we can do instead is that this is chucking out at 60 already, and that's being split into 60, and that's smelting at 30. Yeah. Why is that a stacked belt if that's thrown out at 60 and it's being split? That should be a continuous production going through. Must be to do... That's weird. So that's a stacked belt going at half speed as opposed to a half stacked belt going at full speed, which is what that is. That's interesting. Which makes me think that we could probably have 2 more of these driven off that, even though mathematically that doesn't make sense. Let's see what I've got in my backpack. Right, I need to go and grab... There's a limestone mine just here. Right there that we could tap into. And looking at our current limestone concrete mine, we've basically got it all over here. Now, this was a temporary solution. We're taking limestone out of the ground and we're making concrete there. That's no place to be making concrete because that's out of the factory. If the factory's here, that's out of the factory. So what I propose we do is perhaps extend this floor a bit here and we can have the factory start. We need to decide where the factory start is because at the moment I'm just kind of creeping backwards. But, you know, this is quite a big area actually. And we don't want to completely build out across the entire floor space. So I suggest that we perhaps stop maybe around about here-ish. So that outside of the factory we've actually got, you know, some room to move around here. But that thing there and that thing there, they need to go inside. Now if you actually look at the belt rates and stuff of the limestone chucks out at 30 a minute, which means we can actually take 2 limestone mines and put them onto 1 belt, which means, and then we would need, I think, 2 smelters, because smelters can only smelt at 30 as well, if I remember. I think I left a thing there, yes I did. Need to go and grab a portable miner so we can actually build a proper mine. So I think what we want to do is get the smelting in the factory. That's what I'm trying to say. Smelting and storage actually inside the factory, because if we're going to need downstream stuff for concrete, then we want it to be like on site and not out on the grass somewhere. Just have the mines out on the grass, really. That's where we need to be. Let's quickly get rid of this. I think you have to get rid of this in order to be able to put a new mine down. It won't let you put the mine down on top of this limestone spike. Does that sound like We Will Rock You? Dun, 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 dun. We will rock you. It is, isn't it? I don't know if that's like a developer gag or it's just pure, you know, coincidence, but I find that quite amusing. Why don't you want to build? It's not clear, so it looks like we have to get rid of this as well. So yeah, I am correct. A bit more queen. See, now I've told you that, you're never going to be able to not hear it again. Come on. That's a lot of limestone. I don't want to be carrying around all this limestone. Flippin' heck. If I actually have a limestone storage before the smelter, then I can just throw it into that. So maybe that's something I should do. Right, so we want to be going out roughly that direction. That's fine. We'll stick a power pole next to it, of course. Power it in. And then we'll have a power pole somewhere down here, perhaps out the way. Power that in there. And then we'll power that into here like that. Right. Now, it probably is high time that we did something about these smelters and things. In efficiency terms, we should basically belt this as far as we can, because this is only throwing out at 60 per minute, which is basically a full belt. So we should full belt it into the factory and then begin smelting. And also with all this stuff out the way, we can actually bring the base back a little bit more. I don't want to get too close to this. What I'm saying is we don't want to be splitting it before we get inside the factory, because we can actually have a full stack belt before we get into the factory. Let me just build this out here and get rid of all this horrible uneven floor. And then this thing should really start to look like a factory then. A massive tidy up exercise. I hate it when it does that. There we go. I think this is going to be the limit of how... the limit of how far I want it to go over here. Oh, do you know, that's like the fact that it just can free float stuff means you can't. It's tricky to try and quickly put tiles down sometimes. like that, you see. Just at the point where you click, it's changed. Right, so there's going to be a disruption to the supply, which is pretty hard to avoid, unfortunately. We'll also bring that crafting bench in house. Essentially, this is going to be the wall. Let's put it that way. So at this point here, we are going to have. Actually, let's have a different coloured wall, maybe. Let's have a look. What have we got? We've got this one, different style. Actually, I think we've already done that wall over there. Maybe we'll do the second floor in a different style. Yeah, let's do that. That way, we're not having to change too many things. I'm just going to put normal walls here for a second, just so that we mark the end point. Now this is where the design kicks in. So we're going to have, this stuff is going to be belted into here. We do have, if you remember, we have a wall perpendicular conveyor, and we have a wall conveyor. We even have a wall conveyor too, if we want to bring two lots of things in here, which we may do, because we may want to bring that copper down here at some point and start bringing that in-house. But for now, we'll just focus on this. So we'll have a wall conveyor 1 like that. And then what we can do is we can have a wall conveyor belt perpendicular. Like that. Hello. I actually wanted you to be this way. Thank you very much. Turn it round. And then you can basically do that to that. And you get the idea, right? So we can have that stuff coming into here. Now we need to think about where the door is going to be. So maybe we want to have an actual, let's see, a wall. You can only have the brown one by the look of it, which is weird. Maybe we want to do something like that. And then we'll put a ramp down here. So we need foundation. There you go. Just so that we can get in and out of the factory easily enough. Particularly later when we build a tractor. So that means there's a problem because that belt's going to run right across that door. So the only way to really solve that, I believe, is to elevate. We have to elevate, which is cool. We can do it. We can go to walls. We can go to conveyor like this. Spin that around. We'll just put normal there for now. And then we can go from there. How cool does that look? Hey, hey. You gotta love this kind of stuff. So yeah, we've got to allow for the future as well. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have one mine, we've got another mine, two mines potentially. Let's not go to the end wall. So maybe we can, well, we've got options. We can actually belt it in on the side if we want to. Depends which way we want to take that one. That one could perhaps come in this way, and that one could perhaps come in that way. It doesn't really matter. And then the smelters, I'm just trying to sort it out in my mind. The smelters we're going to need, I think we said we're going to double this, so we're going to have 4 smelters on the go. Perhaps we can put the smelters here. Maybe we can make them now before we take them down. Take the old one down. I don't want to be too close to the wall, just leave some space because we're going to need to have splitters and that kind of thing here. Maybe like, you know, one like that. And then we could have one next to it like that. Perhaps another one. That. And then another one like that. And then in between, we can have... Doesn't like that, does it? I have to put it here. That'll do. So that power line can feed those two. That power line can feed... hello? Power line can feed... Oh, cable. Cable? Let me grab some more cable. It helps having these little craft benches scattered around for entirely this reason. What's hilarious is it takes like 1 cable. Oh, that takes 3. Okay. I was going to say, like, I think the cable amount depends on the length of the cable, which is what it should do. I believe it does. So, let's see. We've got... We're splitting that 60 at the moment. That's coming out at 60 per minute. It's being split into 2 lots of 30. Each 30 is feeding this. So if we want to replace... Direct replacement for this right now is 2 smelters. So we'll take these 2 smelters on the right. And we'll put a splitter just before it. So we've got logistics, splitter, get the inside facing here, take it down there. Like that. That's actually not going to work, is it? It's not going to work. It's not going to like that. Did I put this on the wrong way? 1 second. No, it just doesn't like the angle. So what it is that these are too close together. So this is the annoying thing about these tiles. You try and line things up on tiles, and ultimately you can't. So we need to get rid of this, and we need to move it over. So we're going to go smelter, turn it around, line it up, and this time we'll leave. I've one aligned on the right side of the tile there. And maybe if we put this one, just get rid of them all and try and work out what the pattern is, so that I know for the future. And so do you. Right, so if we line up to the... Yeah. So this one's lined up to the left side of this tile, and this one's lined up to the right side of the tile. That should give us plenty of room to put the power pole like that. And then the logistics splitter should... We put that like in the middle of these two tiles. The logistics splitter should quite easily connect in there. Yeah, so that, I mean that pattern works. So if we take two whole tiles, but we edge, like push them to the edge, that works. Now the question is, can we push this one all the way to the edge? I suspect not. Oh no, we can. There we go. We can actually do that, which means we can make... Come on. There we go. Just takes a little bit of encouragement, and then that one can go there. And logistics. So it's definitely worth doing all this before we take the other stuff offline. And if you hold down the control, we can line it up with that one, and then we know it's all going to work. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, so connect the power lines back. Like that. And then we need to tell this thing what it's actually making, so it's smelting iron ingots. This is going to be iron as well. So it's going to be iron as well. What I like about games like this is, given the exact same map, and it is the exact same map because this map is designed, my factory is going to look completely different to your factory and everybody else's factory, because there is no one way of doing this. There's just a whole bunch of ways of doing this, and I really like that. Right, so if we connect that to there, hang on, before I do that, I just want to be 100% sure. I'm just going to turn everything off, because what I don't want to do is like trip all the power. So if we connect that to there, okay, so they've now got power, but they're currently on standby. There you go. That one was disconnected. So because there are four, we can link four things. We can link two items, one to the main grid, and then one to the next one. And the same, you know, that'll daisy chain nicely. So as long as you connect two items to this at most, you can still daisy chain power through it. That's kind of how I think about it anyway. Right then, so now we're time for the big switch off, as it were. The big reconnect. Shall turn this thing off. That's going to be loaded. We're going to get a whole backpack full of iron ore. There's not a lot we can do about that, I'm afraid. We'll get rid of this. If we let that just roll off on the line, we won't get a backpack full of iron ingots as well, which would be nice. Question is, how far does it go? There, like that. So, we're going to bring... We'll have to get rid of these. Completely. Because we're going to completely just bring that belt in, aren't we? So, let's get rid of that whole section. And we're looking to bring the stuff into here. Now, in the interest of being able to walk around, I would suggest that we probably want to elevate up a little bit like that. And then sort of come down like this. Just so that we've not got too much going on down here. So we've put a wall there. And then we put a conveyor wall above it. We can do that. So we'll kind of bring it in that way. That one we can work out later. We're not going to worry about that one right now. But this one we need to bring into here. So how do we get that up there? Well, quite simply. We're going to have to get rid of this. And we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to have to just elevate the whole thing up. A conveyor belt. So we'll, if we press control on that and try... Let's see. Now, I hope it will... No, that's a little bit too much for it. Again, it comes down to pure guesswork. There is no way of knowing what actually works and what doesn't. We can elevate by 1 level, of course, but I'm trying to elevate by 2. It doesn't like that either. Oh, it goes that... Oh, right, okay. It was a direction thing. Fair enough. Right, now then. So, we want to be able to turn around about here. So we shall drop the pole down. Try to line this up. This is where an overhead view would be ideal. Okay, that's not what I want at all. That to there. That to there. See, and that lets us go under here, which is what we're looking for. Now that's going to have to go. Which means that's going to have to link. Something like that. I think I've just broken this power train as well. Okay. That's working. That's got a green light. That's a flashing red light. Why have I got 2 different poles though? Okay. Okay, that's armed. Right. So now we've elevated that out of the way. And we're bringing iron in. And this we can now rebuild the downstream side. Okay. So that was one of them, and we need to get this one in as well, don't we? Is that still switched on? It's on standby. Oh yeah, that's right. We had 2 belts coming in, and we only need to have 1, so that's fine. So that can all go back on now. We just need to get these output belts sorted. I thought my maths was wrong, but it's not. I wish there was a quicker way of just removing this stuff. It's a little bit slow. Like, you know, Factory, you can just run along and pick up belts super fast. In this, it's like, ugh. Okay. I should do that. Now, we may want to elevate these belts at some point as well, but just to get things back up and running, I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. So this needs to come out, this needs to come out into there. So if we go to here, perhaps. Actually, let's make a right turn. Just keep it simple. let's go to like here. And then we'll just go like... Oh, I wish there was a really easy way of just saying, I want that to go there, but I want it to go via like this point here. Instead of having to sort of do this kind of faff. Right. I think that's some of the things the devs can should definitely work on is the... oh, why doesn't that want to build over? Laying things out aspect of the game. It's just not easy to get nice rectangular shapes. Okay. So after that temporary interruption to the flow of things, we should now be back up and running. Now, of course, we've got 2 belts, but these belts are not stacked coming down here at all, which means we need to get more smelters online. But in order to do that, we're going to need more iron ore. And that means getting online this other big boy here, feeding it into these 2 smelters, and then each one of these 2 can feed that one. So just before we do that, I think what I want to do is quickly get this online, and then we can just have limestone turning into concrete while we're busy building that stuff. It seems like a better use of time. Let's do that. So I'm going to try and get something. This is going to be more or less temporary, to be honest with you. But if we can I not line that up now? See, look, I'm so close to this thing, I can't actually see how well lined up that is. So this is going to pour out into a smelter? No, constructor, I think. It's constructor we want, isn't it? Or is it a smelter? No, it's a smelter, I think. No, hang on. I'm getting confused. I think you need a constructor for your limestone, not a smelter. Let's go and have a look at what we've got going on over here. I think we need some more ingredients anyway. So we're chucking that into storage. The storage, of course, is going to have to go inside. This is constructor. So yeah, constructs limestone into concrete. 45 per minute, 15 per minute. It takes so long. This chucks out at 30. So if you think about that, if we was to put a power shard, which we can't yet, but if we was to put a power shard into this, we could boost it by 50%, and that would push that to 45, which would then perfectly match this, which means it would be going as quick as it can go. So let's see, constructor requires 3 reinforced plates. This is another reason I want to have stuff automated, so I don't have to keep like coming over here and going, oh, reinforced plates, let's build some of them. Bots would be a wonderful thing. Logistic bots in Factorio, you can just like set in your backpack that you want certain amounts of certain things, and the bots will just bring it over, and it is glorious. Right, constructor, line that up. Get that lined up there. Wow, what you built. Did I just put this the wrong way around? Not paying attention. Okay, what's the power line? So we can use that power line to power this, because it's only powering 2 things, that's fine. And then finally, we just want to stick this into storage for now. We'll worry about it later. Storage container. So we'll just line that up like that. That will go into there. And concrete. Now, that's another thing we've just put on the grid. Yeah, okay, we're fine. I was a bit worried about power there, but we're fine. So now we've got 2 lots of concrete production going on, which is great because we need lots and lots and lots of concrete to do all this work that we're doing here. So next job is we'll probably have to move that now. And we need to bring in to here more iron. So the simplest way I would suggest is probably bring it in on that upper wall and then bring it down to here. So if we go for let's see, a conveyor wall like that, put that up there. The rest can just have normal walls like that. And then maybe just about here-ish we go with conveyor pole. That'll need to be level 2. And if we can get this, let's try and get about the same distance as this one was at. So line that up like that. Go from there to there. I kind of feel that it's best to get these belts just like off ground, really. They don't want belts because otherwise I can't move. Like if I get a vehicle later, I won't be able to drive around here at all because of all these belts in the way, which is absolutely no good. Now we're going to have a drop down to here, so we'll put that lined up. Don't know if that's going to be too steep. I suspect it will be. Oh no. I'm actually surprised that worked. So that should bring in a whole lot of iron ore. We'll put these online. Check the power. Yep, here comes the goods. So that's going to split and melt, and what's going to happen is we are going to take the output of that and we're going to bring it straight into this one here. So this belt, you know what, we should actually just merge it now. We should merge it like at this point here. Let's see, like that. And just get rid of all this. Just going to disrupt production again. But this will make things a lot better. Okay, so we want another one of those mergers. Right here, like that. That will go into here. That will go into here. That will go into here. That will go into there. And then this one needs to go into that one. Hmm. 30 per minute. 30 per minute. Belt. 60 per minute. I don't know why this appears to do that. I hope it's correct. It kind of looks like in Factory, I'm used to having a single flow of stuff, but I think it's stacked, but it just doesn't look like it's stacked. You see what I mean? I think it's just represented slightly in a different way. Now I've got a fair amount of wasted floor space here, which I'm not too worried about. We've got plenty of room, and maybe this will leave room for other options later. But now what we've got is it's pretty good actually. We've got 2 fully stacked iron ingot belts now, running off the back of 4 smelters with 2 mines. Why is the input stopped? Where's the iron ore gone? What's happened? Something's gone wrong. Okay. I'm not really sure, but I think I turned it off. It takes a bit of time to get going. Okay, check power. Alright, so we're not that far away from needing another coal generator. Look at that sunset. Isn't it fantastic? But that will do for now. I think maybe we'll have a door over here, you know. I don't want to completely hem myself in. I have wondered why there are no lamps in this game, like why you can't actually manufacture lamps. And also, when you've got this situation here where you've got power poles, with power lines like going through the wall, it kind of breaks things a little bit for me. But lamps, I think, you know, would be great to put those up inside your factory. I'm doing this so that we can, again, it'd be great if we could sort of remove rock as well. But I'm being picky, it's early access. I'm sure they've got all these things on a list somewhere. There you go. So look at this, it's starting to look like a factory now. In fact, if we look at the outside of it, it's starting to take on an impressive look, although I don't know what's going on with some of these tiles. Like, why do they have... Is that two different styles of wall? Like, how did that? Oh, do you know what it is? It splits, doesn't it? I've only just clocked that I need to... Oh my god. Oh my god. I've only just clocked this fact. Right, well, given I've got the iron supports down the bottom here, I should probably continue that trend. Didn't actually spot that detail, you know. This here I'll have to change as well. Which is a bit of a pain. I'll have to get rid of the belt to do it. Get rid of that. Oh well, better to fix it now. It's better than I noticed now, actually. Let's put the conveyor 1. So yeah, it looks like you can basically spin it one of two directions, depending on what style you're going for. So that one there, that's a conveyor thingy like that, and that needs to be like... Ah, now with this you get no choice, look. So in actual fact, the actual struts should always be on the inside, shouldn't they? That's basically it. Like, it should always look like this from the inside. And the outside should look nice and tidy. I can't be bothered splitting all that. Maybe I'll do that off camera, as it were. Yeah, I need to fix all that. Right, okay, lesson learned, lesson learned. I should have been paying more attention. But really, they should all look like that from the outside. Oh yeah, we'll put a little ramp thing here as well. So we want foundations, ramp, turn. Awesome. So now we've got concrete being made over there. Iron is fully maxed out. Concrete being made over here. We've got some walls. We've got some belts coming through the walls. It's already starting to take shape now, isn't it? Now then, to get Logistics Mark II, which is the thing top right there, we need 20 rotors, 20 reinforced iron plates, and 1500 copper wire, which is pretty easy to sort out, to be honest with you. We're not in a rush for Mark II belts right now, so I think we'll ignore that, and what we'll do is we'll crack on with assembling all the other bits and pieces, automating all the other bits and pieces, and probably finishing off things like these wall sections here, just so that everything looks nice and neat and tidy. So I'm going to have to get rid of some of these walls, aren't I? Can't believe that. Okay. I'm going to have to fix it though, because otherwise my factory's going to look ugly. Right, I think we've come to the end of the episode. We've done a lot today, and it's starting to look pretty tasty. I'll fix this off camera, and then I'll get that done. And the next episode, we're going to do the final assembly stuff. Now we've got a good flow of iron. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Until next time, take care. Happy manufacturing.